I picked this morning a card, which I'm just going to go ahead and start with because it really encompasses everything that I think that many of us need, whether we're in the path of the fire. Everybody I know knows somebody who has been affected by this in one way or another. And it was reminding me, I thought, what am I experiencing in my body when I'm checking in with this. And that's one thing I'm going to ask you. So I'd love for you to look at this. This is what called to me this morning, just looking at the cards. And I didn't look at the back of it until I had said, oh, this is the one that I want. So I'd like you to just let your attention go out into the collage, the colors there, and just notice, where does your attention go? And then bringing what you're noticing back into your body, and then noticing, how am I experiencing all of this in my body right now? And while I'm reading the back of this to you, I would like you to let your attention just go into the collage and then back to you. I let my belly relax on the in-breath and allow the in-breath to roll over into the out-breath without pausing. Oh, I'm going to say that one again. I let my belly relax on the in-breath and allow the in-breath to roll over into the out-breath without pausing. I let my back gently arch with the in-breath and round with the out-breath as I fill my body with breath, like filling a bottle from the bottom up. And once more, I let my back gently arch with the in-breath and round with the out-breath as I fill my body with breath, like filling a bottle from the bottom up. And then putting those two together of relaxing your belly on the in-breath, allowing the in-breath to roll right on over into the out-breath, and letting your back gently arch rather than getting rigid, just arching and rounding with the breath. And then my spine moves easily like seaweed and water as I let a full in-breath and out-breath refresh and renew me. My spine moves easily like seaweed and water as I let a full in-breath and out-breath refresh and renew me. So breathing, breathing is essential. Breathing is what pumps oxygen and allows us to respond to life. And in the kinds of emergencies that we're finding ourselves in more and more now, our breath is such a resource to allow us to continue circulating attention, breath, caring. And so I would love for you also to let yourself incorporate opening, when you're opening your in-breath, letting your attention go in to you, and when you're breathing out, letting your attention go out to what's around you. So you're incorporating the loop of awareness with your breathing. And especially when I'm in stress, when I let my breath combine with my attention, I can very quickly find my presence again. So let's come on back to the group. And I wanted to just encourage you to let the breathing be incorporated with, where am I putting my attention right now? Because I find when I'm in a lot of stress that I will revert to my fear signature. So this is also a great way of letting the breathing and your attention begin to soften your own fear signature. So mine is freeze and then faint and then fight. And so just notice as you're letting yourself breathe in and notice what's going on in your body, and then breathing out and noticing what's going on around you. You can begin to notice, where do you lose your breathing or where do you lose your attention? And then you can just very gently let yourself come back to this as a kind of a meditation in action. So I revisit this regularly. And I think it's a great thing for you to be able to offer to others around you. And the other thing you can add to this is, when you're breathing in, let yourself bring love and attention to wherever you need it. And as you're breathing out, let your attention go. The person doesn't have to be nearby. You can let your attention go to people that you know, people that you don't know, communities, something that you saw on television when somebody was being interviewed that really touched you. So if it touched you, there's something in you that's wanting that attention. And then there's something in you that can send your attention out. It's an action that you can take, because people say, oh, what can I do? What can I do? Your attention and your love can travel through time and space. And so giving your love and attention to, I was seeing somebody rescuing a dog. And I just felt so, I mean, I feel teared up when I am thinking about it, and, risking his life to save the dog. And so, that I just felt so like, um, this is what the best of humanity is. And so often, unfortunately, we only use the best of humanity when the worst is happening. So when you're giving attention to you, you can also send out a thank you. A thank you is a great thing to send out with your attention. Appreciation is a great intention to send out with your awareness. And what we tend to do is forget one or the other. We get so involved in, oh my God, and what can I do, that we forget to resource ourselves. And so the more that you resource yourself and let yourself feel whatever you're feeling, letting that roll through, allows you to keep that circulation moving. So noticing you, because I can see just looking out at you that some of you have these little, these little stuck places. And I was reminded when this whole fire thing first happened and then accelerated and got so horrific. Um, when I was, gosh, in kindergarten or first grade, uh, I lived in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I was running down the steps with my lunchbox to go get on the bus, and I tripped and I fell on my lunchbox, and my lunchbox fell right on my diaphragm, and I literally knocked the wind out of me. And I know it was the first time I'd ever had an experience of, when I went to breathe, I couldn't. And I had a version of that when the fires occurred. And so it also allowed me to give attention to my little 5-year-old. Was like, oh my God, what, I'm going to die. What is this? And so that residual that was still in my body, so I could give love scoops to her, and then giving attention out. So for me, this has also led to action to the various places where I've been donating, especially for animals, and to the World Central Kitchen. So, and I think so many people have gone into action, which is great. And please remember to include you. So filling your own reservoir. So, one of the phenomena that we've had here is that the hydrants ran dry. So the demand was so great that the water system couldn't keep up with it. So some houses were lost because there was just no water. So it was reminding me of how essential it is that we literally fill our own reservoirs before we let the overflow go to others. So as you're continuing, so something that I've said might have stopped your breath, might have reminded you of something that stopped your breath. So you can come back to the key for me for breathing is moving my spine. So, of these directions that I was reading to you, you might check into which of those are just the easiest entryway to like restarting your breath. Because I'm thinking of like a swing. I also love to think of the breath as a swing, because that gives me that sense of rhythm and coming back to me and going out. And if I lose that, the quickest way for me to find my breath again is to move my pelvis. And so that's what I do. And today I'm sitting on my swapper because that assists me to do that without thinking about it. So any way that you can get support from your environment, from your clothes, like wearing loose clothes so that you're not cinching your waist, so that you can access your breath in the easiest, quickest way. So I'm imagining that for some of you, that would be actually focusing on your breath. For some of you, that would be focusing on your spine. So for some of you, it might be doing some fear melters that opens up, because the thing that's going to happen is you're probably going to freeze up, because that's, when the awful thing happens, most of us go, oh, and so having a little wiggle. So let yourself take a moment now to, of when I'm not breathing, what's the easiest way to remind myself to come back to my breath again? And then let yourself do that. Oh, I love how did you, I don't know if you can see this. I've got these great rays of sun coming in here. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, universe. So see what happens when you focus on your breathing, how the world can support you. I love that. So I'm inviting the same kinds of little winks from the universe for you as well. Our, our animals have been much more vigilant over the last couple of days. So even though we're 80 miles away or so from the fire, currently, they're very, very sensitive and also very telepathic. And so they've been hanging close to us. And, I can understand that. And I also have been talking to them and reassuring them that, telling them what's going on and reassuring them that we're going to take care of them, and help keep them safe. So everybody, in the, my sense is anybody who's touched by this in any way has got some sort of going on. So for me, returning to the breathing, and also when you're assisting others, I find it really helpful to let them know that it takes between 3 and 8 breaths to actually experience the shift. And 2 full minutes where you can really integrate that. But if someone is saying, well, just breathe, that's not helpful. I know, because that just makes people go into startle response. So when you're breathing in a way that's relaxed and easy, the other person can osmose that. So that's one of the most valuable things you can do, whether you're in the same space with them or not. And then as you're sharing with someone, to say, I found, or, when I'm, feeling tense or scared, that it takes between 3 and 8 breaths. So for some people, it's simply connecting the in breath to the out breath, because that's another place where people go and don't breathe out. So that I sometimes like to use the image of a baby roller coaster, that the in breath rolls up and just over. So it's not a big dramatic breath, but it's a rollover so that you're not holding your breath at the top of the in breath, because that's the keeps you in that startle response. So 3 to 8 in breaths, relaxing your in breath. Because if people are going to tense, tell them to tense on the out breath. So most people will be experiencing tension. And so instead of saying just relax, which is not very helpful when people are in the middle of being scared, is to tense on the out breath as if you were blowing out a candle, and then relax your belly as you're breathing in. So, if you don't have an opportunity to give, instructions, your Easy breathing is very contagious because we know that fear is contagious, but we don't have as much experience with letting people know that breathing and presence is contagious, and the other person can osmose that, and you can invite them with your telepathy, and you can give your attention to them just for what they're feeling, and then take that into your breathing, and that also supports being with what's occurring, which then allows us to be able to respond. So for me, it was, I didn't try to make any meaning out of all of this, which is another place that we go to. We flee up like, oh my God. And there's some of that going on. There's some politicizing of this that's going on. So I like to return to, how am I experiencing this in my body, and my intention to use my breath and my awareness to connect and to befriend and to be with. So in light of that, let's also take a look at our Presence Connect play for today. Wonderful. Presence is fear melters. So even as we're just sitting here, so if what I like to add into my breathing is light fear melter. So I'll do a little oozing. Like if I feel, someplace in me that's gritchy as I'm breathing, I'll add in wiggling. Wiggling opens my spine. I can add in oozing. I can definitely add in love scoops. So I can gather energy on the in breath, and then I can give it to me on the out breath, or I can give it out on the out breath. So adding and then of course, rooting, the sense of definitely feeling my feet, feeling my breath. I like to let my in breath come in through my feet, and my out breath go out through my heart. So you can play with all of these different ways of simply adding the fear melters. Light fear melters really unthaw. They unthwack stuck places really quickly. And connect is shifting your attention, what we have been doing. So what people forget is that the shift of attention is very effective in just interrupting a stuck pattern. And so when you shift your attention, if I'm going, oh my God, I shift my attention back to here, come into my breathing, and that begins to continue the circulation of attention. Yeah, so as I'm looking at you, I can see more of you are moving. This is always encouraging to me. So moving, when we're moving, we're not in that place. And then play is pretty much the same. Receive and then toss. So this is also a great time to be opening to receiving for you, because I know all of you on this call are very adept at giving. And so I want you to let yourself receive all the nourishment that you need to be able to be a source of generous attention that I know you are. So put an emphasis on, you get to receive too. There are people talking now about the people who didn't lose their houses, or the people who didn't have as hard a time, are experiencing survivor's guilt. And so I'm assured that many of us are experiencing, oh my God, that could have been me. And so you're letting yourself notice and experience whatever you're feeling is really, really important right now. So, so I'm also feeling, here I am, here you are, and I'm so glad that we are able to be here with each other. That community, being with each other, knowing that you can give and receive, and that there's plenty. There's plenty of attention, there's plenty of love, and that as we circulate it, we create more. That's a pretty cool thing. All right. So I'm going to go on to other things today and give some more attention to what's going on around here. We managed to break all of our patio furniture last week because I didn't close the umbrellas, and so they went traveling all over the neighborhood. Uh, so things to attend to. Yeah, there, stuff happens. If you go unconscious, the universe has the way of saying, hello. So I'm going to go attend to things, and thank you so much for being here today. So please stay on the call and share whatever else you would like to. Yes, and plan to see you next week. Mwah. Take care.